Welcome back, it's DCeased Day 4. Today we're going to dive into our first spin-off. It's DCeased, the Unkillables, number 1. I was looking at doing this chronologically as best I could, but that's not going to work because some of these are in between issues and whatnot, but I'm going to do the best I can, more or less. So this one takes place after DCeased number 3, which is why you're seeing it on Day 4. I'm rambling. The issue opens with Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, and he's a mercenary for hire if you're unfamiliar with the healing factor. And he goes to this house where he's supposed to kill a couple guys. Let's just call them bikers. They're not bikers. They have shaved heads and they are racist, and I'm not saying that word on YouTube. So he goes and he knocks on the door, and then somebody jumps out of the second floor window. And he's like, somebody always tries to run. And that person lands and breaks both their legs and gets up and keeps running. And he's like, okay, that's a little different, I suppose. He shoots him in the back of the head, and he's like, you can't outrun everything. Then the door bursts open, and people come running, and he's like, oh, ready for a fight, but they're not there to fight him. They run past him, and he's like, takes out his sword, and he's hacking and slashing and taking him down as best he can. He's like, okay, this is odd. Something's going on here. He goes inside, and they are all just, the zombies that we're familiar with at this point, and he's like, well, this changes things. I gotta renegotiate my price. So he takes out his phone and looks at it, and it's just like, he's overcome and he rips at his face, but I'm not gonna put a counter here, and I'll tell you why. Because 2 days later, he comes to, and he's fine again. His body, with his healing factor, has overthrown and fought off the virus, although he did give in to it for some time. 2 days, day and a half. Jason Todd, the Red Hood, goes to the Batcave, and he's looking for people. He's like, Bruce, Alfred, anybody around? And then he goes and he sees the bodies of Tim, Dick, and Bruce, and he's like, oh, man, I thought for sure you'd be all right. Ace the Bat Hound is still alive, though, so he joins the Red Hood. So Jason goes and he gets a shovel and he buries everyone. He buries Tim, he buries Dick, he buries Bruce. He gives them little headstones. We only see Bruce's at this point in time. And it says, Bruce Wayne, father, mentor, bastard, Batman. So anyway, Jason's like, you know what, Bruce never let me drive the car, so he hops in the Batmobile. Ace hops in with him, and he says, car, show me the locations of the Bat family in Gotham other than me. Couple pop up. So he's like, oh, gotta go find those guys. Then we cut over to Rose Wilson. She's the daughter of Slade Wilson. Her name is Ravager. She's kind of the same deal. I'm not sure about her healing factor, honestly. I don't think so. But she has like a mercenary for hire costume just like his, only more ladylike. Don't know. She also can see into the future, and she sees every time she tries to go out her door, the zombies all get in and get her. And she's like, well, then I'm not gonna go to the door. When she gets a call from her dad, it's time to go. And she's like, no, I'm gonna die if I go through the door. He's like, well, don't go through the door, get to the roof. Then I'll be stuck on the roof. He's like, no, come on, you're not gonna be stuck on the roof. And he's got a jet helicopter type thing. So she goes up to the roof all in gear, and he lowers a ladder, and he's like, oh crap, don't come, because he looks and sees like a bat signal in the sky, which I think the bat signal is just in the sky nonstop now. But he also sees a giant man bat flying towards him. Dead man bat. Man-Bat flies through the front window and starts attacking, and Slade fights him off, but he does get bit a couple times, and he crashes, and he gets up, and he's like, oh, and then, his daughter just stabs a sword through his chest, and he's like, ow! And she's like, zombies don't say ow. He's like, yeah, no, I am immune to this now. I can fight this off. And she's like, oh, cool. Where are we going? He's like, I don't know. I just crashed my jet. They hear a voice behind him. It's like, interesting. He was right about you too. And they're like, what? And they turn around. It's the Mirror Master. Vandal Savage. I'm not going to do the accent the whole time. He's like, Vandal Savage has got this whole island thing going, and he said he wants you here, Slade, and I could probably take your daughter too. So put these goggles on. They'll block out the internet, and come with me. They travel through the mirror world and go to this island. On the island, we see Vandal Savage has assembled a team. It's got Solomon Grundy, the Creeper, Cheetah, Captain Cold, Lady Shiva, Bane, and Deadshot. They are the tree lobsters. And he explains what a tree lobster is. It was this little species of bug, like a lobster-like bug in a tree. And hundreds of years ago, this boat landed on an island, and it was full of rats, and the rats went off, and they had nobody to eat the rats, like natural predators, not people. So the rats ate all the tree lobsters, and they were thought to be extinct, and then hundreds of years later on this other weird little island, they found more tree lobsters, and he's basically like, we're the tree lobsters. We are survivors. And Vandal Savage, after that whole speech, gives another little speech. It's like, because the heroes are not going to win. They aren't ruthless enough to deal with this properly. And I mean, I'm 5,000 years old. This is not the first apocalypse I've faced. So we're just going to sit here until they screw everything up. And we're going to crawl out afterwards like the tree lobsters we are. And we'll take over and run the world after that. Back in Gotham City at the GCPD, we get Commissioner Gordon and Harvey Bullock. They're fighting zombies alongside Batgirl, Cassandra Cain. And Gordon's like, come on, we gotta hold them back as long as we can. We gotta buy more time. And Bullock's like, why do you want to buy time? Because I got the bat signal on. And Bullock's like, dude, that Batgirl there, that's the only bat that's coming. Nobody's coming. Harvey gets bit and he has to be taken down. The Batmobile comes crashing through the wall and takes out a bunch of zombies. There's two guys in front of Gordon, and it's like, blam, blam, their heads get blown off, and Batman! And Red Hood's just like, I ain't Batman, get in the car. Commissioner Gordon's like, I have to go see my daughter. We gotta get to Barbara. And he's like, Barbara's dead, I'm sorry. He's like, well, how do you know? And he's like, car, show me the heart rate monitor for Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. And it's like, yeah, dead. Commissioner Gordon's like, what? Why does the Batmobile have that? And Red Hood's like, man, you are a smart guy. The world is ending. Let's not do this anymore. He takes off his mask. Cassandra Cain takes off her mask. And Commissioner Gordon's like, Jason Todd, Cassandra Cain, Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Bruce Wayne, Damian Wayne, like they're all dead. And he's like, no, Damian and Alfred are alive in Metropolis. So anyway, let's go. But Commissioner Gordon wants to see Barbara anyway. And they go there and you see the aftermath of Poison Ivy's attack on the birds of prey, which you'll hear about tomorrow as it's in a different issue. And that's what I was talking about, where the time is hard to... If I go issue by issue, it's hard to get them chronologically. I guess I could have broken things up, but I didn't. I'm going issue by issue. Spoiler alert for tomorrow, Poison Ivy attacks the birds of prey. But if you also recall, the Joker was there, and that's where Harley Quinn shot him in the gut with a shotgun, and Jason Todd is like, oh, man, I kind of wanted to be the one to kill the Joker, but you know what is just as good? He ties up the Joker's body to the hood of the Batmobile. Commissioner Gordon's like, this is messed up. And Jason's just like, man, it's the apocalypse, so don't judge me. And they drive out of Gotham. They go into Bloodhaven, and they find there a big fortress-type building. There's a bunch of anti-life zombies there trying to get in, so there's something alive inside, and it seems to be holding up to keep everybody outside. So they fire a bunch of rockets at it from the Batmobile, kill all the guys, they fly down, they override a door, they get inside, and they're like, okay, no, this place looks pretty good. And then a couple of kids come out, and they're like, oh, this is an orphanage. Okay, where are the grown-ups? And they're like, oh, they're kind of gone. Some of them left, and some of them are in this room. And they show this door that has been barred shut, and there's like metal bar twisted around. And like, yeah, everybody in there's a zombie. Like, okay, well, who did this? And like, oh, some girl superhero. We don't know who she was. We haven't seen her before. Nobody recognized her really. She came, she put everybody in there, she bent the bars, and then she brought us a bunch of food and she left. Jason and Cassandra and Jim, they all kind of band together, and they're like, yeah, like, this is where we're supposed to be. This is a good fight. This is a bunch of kids that we have to defend. So let's hunker down here and do this. And that's where the issue ends. And just being real here, it's going to be probably a couple of weeks before we come back to this particular story of the Unkillables. Once again, that's that whole chronological thing. Anyway, like and subscribe so you catch that a couple weeks down the road, but also everything that's going to happen in between on a daily basis here at Haussmann Comics. Good day.